Before we begin, this video is strictly for educational purposes only, not financial, tax, legal, or investment advice of any kind. Always do your own research and consult a qualified professional before making any financial decisions whatsoever. Numbers shown throughout this video are illustrative examples only and are not guaranteed results for any individual investor. If you have a 401k through your employer and never changed the default settings, you are likely making at least 3 costly mistakes right now. These are not small mistakes. They could cost you $100,000, $200,000, even $400,000 by the time you actually retire. Not because you did something reckless, but simply because nobody explained your settings when you signed up for the plan. Most plans auto-enroll you into a default fund, often a money market, stable value, or target date fund chosen by the administrator. That default sounds safe but could be quietly charging fees that compound against your returns for the next several decades. First, find the S&P 500 Index Fund or Total Market Index Fund inside your plan because almost every large plan has one. Look for names like S&P 500 Index, Large Cap Index, or Total Market Index and treat that as your core holding. Second, check the expense ratio of every fund you currently hold, which is the annual fee expressed as a percentage of balance. A reasonable expense ratio for an index fund is 0.03% to 0.20%. Anything above 0.5% should raise a serious flag immediately. On a $200,000 balance, a 1.2% expense ratio removes $2,400 from your returns every single year in good markets and bad. Over a 25-year career, that fee structure compared to a low-cost index fund could quietly cost you $70,000 or more total. Third, check whether your plan offers a brokerage window allowing you to invest beyond the standard limited fund menu available. Log into your account today, write down every fund and its expense ratio, then find the cheapest index fund your plan offers. If you are in a fund charging 0.8% and an S&P 500 index fund exists at 0.05%, that switch takes only 3 minutes. Mistake 3 is emotionally understandable and mathematically devastating: investing too conservatively for your actual age and time horizon. This usually happens after a market crash when people shift to bonds or stable funds to feel protected from further losses. The core misunderstanding is treating short-term volatility as permanent long-term risk, which leads to decisions that permanently impair retirement wealth. A 30-year-old watching their balance drop 30% is not experiencing a real loss unless they sell and lock it in permanently. If they stay invested, monthly contributions keep buying more shares at lower prices, and time eventually restores the previous balance. Over any 35-year investing horizon, the market will crash multiple times but has recovered to new highs after every single one. A 30-year-old with $100,000 in bonds earning 4% annually reaches approximately $395,000 by traditional retirement age after 35 years. The defaults your employer chose are not designed with your best interests in mind, and most people have absolutely no idea. Every month that passes with the wrong setup, you are quietly leaving real money on the table without even realizing it. Today I will walk through all 6 mistakes, what they cost in real dollars, and exactly how to fix every single one. The single most expensive and easiest mistake to fix is not capturing your full employer match every single year. When you enroll, your employer typically matches a portion of your contributions, often 50% of contributions up to 6% of your salary. If you earn $60,000 and contribute 6%, that is $3,600 from you, plus $1,800 completely free from your employer every year. That $1,800 per year invested for 30 years at 7% average return grows to approximately $170,000 in your retirement account. If you contribute less than the threshold, you get a smaller match. If you contribute nothing, you collect absolutely nothing at all. Surveys show about 25% of Americans with 401,000 access never contribute enough to capture the full employer match available to them. The employer match is a 50% to 100% instant return on your contribution before the market even opens the next morning. No other investment available to ordinary Americans guarantees that kind of immediate return, not bonds, savings, or real estate. Most people miss the match not by choice but because nobody explained it clearly when they originally signed up for benefits. The minimum you should ever contribute is whatever percentage triggers your full employer match, and that number is your absolute floor. Log into your 401k portal, find the contribution section, Identify the exact match threshold, set your percentage, and you are done. 15 minutes of work today could mean $170,000 more waiting in your account by the time you reach retirement age. Mistake 2 surprises most people. The funds inside your 401k are not automatically good just because your employer selected them. That same $100,000 in an S&P 500 index fund earning 9.7% historically grows to approximately $2,500,000 over the same period. That one decision to play it safe costs roughly $2.1 million, not from bad luck but from choosing the wrong risk level entirely. A simple framework: subtract your age from 110 and the result is roughly the percentage of your portfolio that should be in stocks. At 30, that means about 80% stocks. At 45, around 65%. At 60, closer to 50%, shifting gradually as retirement approaches over time. If you are in your 30s or 40s and your 401k holds more than 40% in bonds, that is worth reviewing and adjusting today. Expense ratios deserve their own spotlight because most people severely underestimate what a small percentage costs in real dollars over decades. Investing $500 per month for 30 years in an index fund at 0.03% expense ratio grows to approximately $1,100,000 at retirement. The same $500 monthly in an actively managed fund at 1.0% grows to only about $870,000 over that same 30-year period. The investor in the expensive fund paid $231,000 in fees and arrived at retirement with $230,000 less than the index fund investor. Review your planned fund options, find each expense ratio, then switch to the cheapest index fund your 401k plan currently offers. Mistake 5 is catastrophic when it happens, and research shows roughly 40% of Americans cash out their 401k when changing jobs. Cashing out triggers two immediate penalties: ordinary income taxes on the full balance plus a 10% early withdrawal penalty from the IRS. Combined, you lose approximately 30 to 35 cents of every dollar you withdraw before that money even reaches your bank account. On a $30,000 balance, cashing out leaves you with roughly $19,000 to $21,000, while $9,000 to $11,000 goes directly to taxes. But the real cost is compounding. $30,000 left invested at 7% for 25 years grows to approximately $163,000 by retirement age. The decision to cash out a $30,000 balance at 35 does not cost you $30,000. It costs you $163,000 at age 60. The alternative takes 30 minutes. Roll the balance directly into your new employer plan or a personal rollover IRA instead. A rollover IRA at Fidelity, Vanguard, or Schwab gives full fund control and keeps your balance growing without any interruption at all. Use the words direct rollover when you call your old plan provider, never distribution or withdrawal, to avoid triggering any penalties. The moment a check is made out in your name, taxes and penalties are triggered and that money begins disappearing permanently from you. The sixth mistake is the quietest one, and over 30 or 40 years it quietly compounds into a very large retirement shortfall. Most people set their contribution at whatever felt manageable when they enrolled, often 3% or 4%, and never change it again. 10 years later their salary is higher, lifestyle absorbed those raises, but the 401k contribution is still sitting at 3% unchanged. The contribution you set on day one was not designed to fund a comfortable retirement and deserves to be revisited regularly each year. The most painless fix is automatic contribution escalation, where your rate increases by 1% automatically every year without any manual effort. On a $60,000 salary, moving from 5% to 6% is only about $50 less per month, which most people genuinely never notice at all. Contributing 5% for 30 years at 7% average growth on a $60,000 salary produces a final balance of roughly $340,000. Starting at 5% and escalating 1% annually until reaching 15% produces a final balance closer to $600,000 to $700,000 instead. Same person, same job, same market, just a slow, consistent increase in savings rate, making a $300,000 lifetime difference overall. Find the auto-escalation setting in your plan right now, turn it on, set it to 1% per year, and simply walk away. Here is the complete correct setup summarized in 5 steps you can complete in about 30 to 45 minutes total today. Step 1. Contribute at minimum enough to capture your full employer match because skipping it is the most expensive mistake on this list. Step 2. Move into the lowest cost S&P 500 or total market index fund available inside your specific employer plan today. Step 3. Set your stock allocation using the 110-age rule and revisit it every 5 years as retirement approaches. Step 4. Enable automatic annual contribution increases of 1% per year and let the system raise your savings rate silently. Step 5. Every time you change jobs, initiate a direct rollover and never accept a check made out in your own name. None of this is sophisticated, none requires a financial advisor, and all of it combined takes about 30 to 45 minutes one time. Your 401k will likely be the single largest financial asset you accumulate across your entire working lifetime, so treat it accordingly. For most Americans, it is the difference between a retirement that works and one that falls significantly short of what they expected. Yet the average person spends more time researching their next phone than reviewing an account worth potentially hundreds of thousands of dollars. Take 30 minutes this week, log into your account, check your contribution rate against your employer match threshold, and review fund expense ratios. Check whether auto-escalation is enabled and make sure you never cash out a balance during any future job change again. 30 minutes of account review today could mean hundreds of thousands of additional dollars waiting for you at retirement age. Hit subscribe for more retirement and investing breakdowns in plain language and drop your biggest 401k question in the comments below.